These setups are getting a little bit out of hand. So there's 3 setups I'm looking to actually be trading here pretty soon. One of them I feel okay about, and then a couple others that we've missed. So let's talk about this first, NZDJPY. I'm currently short on NZDJPY here at the daily zone. I shared this trade this morning in my free Telegram channel where I share all my trades and analysis. I'll put a link in the description and the pinned comment if you want to check it out. But I posted this in here and I basically said like NZDJPY is ready. She looks great right now. So I ended up taking a short position. I'm currently sitting in a short position on that that's sitting around break even at the time I'm making this video. So we'll see where she goes. I risked $50,000 on this one, and here's the reason I took it. Price is at a clear resistance zone. Earlier last week, or perhaps 2 weeks ago, I think, we entered here. Price went down to profit. We closed in profit. And now when price has tried to go back up, but it fails to break past these previous highs and continues to get rejected, I just think this is kind of shifting into a little downtrend right here with these little lower lows and lower highs that have been painting. So I went ahead and I got back short, but this time with lower risk. Instead of $100,000 risk, I'm only risking $50,000. So we're going to see which way she goes, but this looks like a basic clean and simple sell at resistance. The second one here is EURJPY, which this is another JPY pair. However, I'm not exposed to my full risk of $100,000 quite yet. So I still have another $50,000 if I want to spread it across JPYs because of the currency correlation. So I could risk another 50K on this if I wanted to. The question is should I enter here or should I wait to see if it can go up all the way to this extreme high up there? It's less likely for price to get there. It's more likely price could have a bounce here where this support was in these 2 little resistance areas where price rejected. So right here, literally any second now we could drop, but it would be a little bit safer to wait for price to come up to the upside. If that happens, NZDJPY is probably going to see some bullish pressure as well to go up there. So if we're wanting to like not be as super risky, I should probably be waiting for this up here. The only thing is that it's looking very good right now. So what I might do is I might just risk, say, 50K for now on this one. And then if it pops up, I'll give myself the chance to enter one more position, risking another 50K at that high. That'll put me at $100,000 of risk on EURJPY on a very high quality setup, literally selling at the daily / weekly highs right here. I think this is great. I mean, all we really need is a little tiny bounce away from the zone because I just trade with 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. So it doesn't have to move very far for me to get my profit target hit. And if that happens, I think that would be super, super sexy. So I'm going to wait to see. The entry would be somewhere in here. Stop would be above, target would be below at 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Another one here is EURUSD. The thing is now we're exposed to even more currency correlation because instead of JPYs, we're now exposed to 2 euro pairs. The question becomes, it's a matter of time before price breaks out of this range. So when is it going to break out? We don't know, right? We can only participate in setups with controlled risk. I think it's likely enough price might bounce here. How much money would I be comfortable risking if I were to enter right now? Probably maybe $25,000, which is like a fourth of my max risk per trade. I risk different amounts depending on the quality of the trading opportunity, which I think makes a lot of sense, right? If a trading opportunity is very high quality, given my experience in the past decade that I've been trading, then I'll just risk more on it. So it's generally between $50,000 to $100,000 risk per trade. But in some cases, like if I just don't believe the trade is as high quality, but it's still worth a shot to trade with low risk, then I'll still take the trade. And if it goes against me, I try to get out early. And if it goes towards the profit target, I try to hold to the 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. EURUSD, I'll be looking to maybe sell, but we'll have to see what EURUSD and EURJPY do. I think these are set up perfectly for sells. It's just a matter of whether or not to enter now or later. But whatever I do, I'll post it here in the Telegram channel. Keep you guys updated here in the channel. So yeah, just post all my analysis in here. So it's great. So let's go ahead and get to the last one right here, GBP Canadian dollar. I have considered taking a sell on this. I still think I'm going to be looking to take a short position here on this. This resistance zone has been respected pretty nicely, basically every single time except for this right here. Obviously, we had a breakout above, but she came back, tested as support, bounced, came back below, tested as support, bounced, tested as support here once more a couple times before failing, broke below, came and tested as resistance, and then bounced. I'm waiting for it to get back up here into this resistance zone along where all these highs are, and then I could sell right there. Stop loss above, target below at 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. I think it's a pretty clean cut trade. I think it's worth a shot to take. The risk for this for me would probably be 50K. Now we get to a couple setups. So AEDJPY, I shared this earlier this week in Telegram. I was desperate to trade it. This was today. I said I'm still waiting on the entry. The alert is at 114.718. And as I'm making this video, the alert sits in the same spot. Price just barely missed that alert. And even when it was up there, that was on Sunday when the market was open during Asian session, and the spreads were too high to have even gotten filled and entered right there in the first place. So I was unable to get an entry basically. Price kind of danced around a little bit below this. I was really convinced we'd see one final lurch up here into this region before falling, but that didn't happen. She ended up struggling here, started making new lows, failed to make a new high. The bullish momentum wore off. We had a sell-off, slight little pullback before she then continued down today. So yeah, AEDJPY has already come off the zone. This was a very clean and clear just sell at resistance. The only issue is just the entry. Like, I would not have gotten filled had I entered there on Sunday. At least not at that price. The spreads were so wide. So I never really got a chance to enter at an optimal area that I believe was good from a risk structure perspective. And that's okay with me. Being patient is truly a big virtue in trading. And being patient, part of being patient means that you're going to miss trades from time to time because you're waiting on optimal entries that have viable risk structure that's good and makes sense and is contextually appropriate given the specific trading opportunity. Doing that, I mean, it's going to protect you very often, right? Because if you get into a trade and it's a great entry, it's right there at the tip of the zone or at least halfway or more into the support resistance zone. The moment it starts going against you, you can just close it, right? So the risk is small. Most of the time, you're not going to get your stop hit. And then if it starts going into profit, it doesn't have to move far at all for you to get your profit target hit. It's like a win-win-win. The only times it's not wins is whenever you miss the entry. But in that case, you're not even really losing money that's in your account. You're missing the trading opportunity, sure. So you could make the argument it's costing you money because the profits that you could have made. But it's more important to focus on like what your actual account balance is and keeping your money in your pocket and not taking unnecessary risks. And this, in my opinion, as close as it was, it just, it didn't work out. Didn't give me the entry. USD CHF is an example of the inverse of what I was saying. So I had entered this, I believe right here. This was a week or two ago. I entered this trade. She had popped up above this zone. And as she started to break above this zone, ended up closing. So I was able to get out of this around, I think it was a small loss or it was a break even or something. You can go see for yourself in my Telegram. I document everything in here so you can go and you can see everything for yourself. But USD CHF, she went above the zone. Since my entry was so good, it resulted in a tiny loss for me, relative to the amount of profits I made. I've grown a $350,000 account to over $1 million right now. And it's taken me about 10 months, almost 10 months to do so. And I didn't accomplish this by making my losses bigger than my profits, right? So my idea is to try to keep the losses small. Price broke above this zone. And then now today, after days of just rallying up above the zone for like a week and a half, we had a big drop back into the zone. So now one of two things can happen. Right, so I'm going to sound like a genius here. One of the two things can happen. Price is going to go up or it's going to go down. Right, but let's look with a little bit more context. So price could either turn into support right here and bounce and continue to the upside, and then we can continue this little uptrend that price was doing. Sure, that could happen. We could also see price fall back below this zone. Okay, this is exactly what GBP CAD did. GBP CAD broke above a zone, came back, tested, failed to make a new high, couldn't crack past those highs, came back below, tried to bounce it again, failed, broke below. We could see that happen here on USD CHF. It could just break below, and then it turns into a fake out. This move right here turns into a fake out. You can never predict it in the moment, right? Because so far as we know, this is just a proper breakout. Price is broken above, came back, touched it, bounced, couldn't go up higher, came back, we could bounce again. If we break below, then we'll just simply set an alert back at the resistance zone. And if we come back up into a resistance, I'll look to take a sell. The trade will look something like this right here. Short position at the zone, stop loss above the zone. This actually looks perfect. Yeah, just stop loss above the zone, probably right above that little recent high as well. And then target below at 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. So it'll probably look something like this if I do end up taking it. We need to have a break back below and a closure here, probably for a couple days would be pretty nice, and then a retrace back up. That's literally exactly why I'm looking to take a GBP CAD. She broke below the zone, just closed down here, came back up, already rejected nicely. If we could just come back up here to get a nice sexy entry there at that zone, the trade could be structured like this. Entry there, stop loss above the zone, target at 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, probably 50K risk for this one for me. This would be a nice clean risk structure, super clean. So that's it. So NZD JPY, Euro JPY, Euro USD, these are all looking pretty good. Euro USD even looks good right here at this moment because we're in the zone. I'm just concerned about overexposing myself to the Euro as well as the JPY. So let's just see what ends up setting up. Whatever I do, I'll post in Telegram. All right, so then we have GBP CAD, which I'm going to be waiting for. AD JPY and USD CHF, we're just going to be keeping our eyes on them. And then everything else, I don't really have anything for the rest of these pairs. Euro NZD, we're bouncing off of support. GBP AUD looks like she might be coming up here into this resistance zone. I didn't think this would happen so quickly. We had this one bullish candle here with the AUD weakness, so it sent GBP AUD to the upside. And perhaps it'll get into the resistance there and we could look to sell. CHF JPY, we're in no man's land. I see nothing. CAD JPY, similar to the other JPYs, I just think we got better opportunities. I think AUD JPY looks a little bit nicer, as well as NZD JPY, which is literally still at the zone, which I'm in right now, and Euro JPY, which could be setting up at any moment. So CAD JPY and CHF JPY, yeah, I don't really know. They don't look as great for me right now. GJ just continued above these highs. It wasn't even a clear zone to begin with. We're just in an uptrend on GJ, so I'm just waiting. GBP NZD, nothing for me. AUD USD, nothing for me. Euro GBP, let me drag this a little bit higher just so we can keep our eyes on it. Euro GBP, if we can come up here into this resistance zone, I will be looking to sell. And this one might be one I risk like $100,000 on. Why? Just because it is an ultra clear zone. Now, even the most ultra clear, super nice, take home to mom and dad type of support resistance zones, even these get broken, right? So this got broken here. We could come back up here, bounce for a second, and then just break above, and then come back, test a support, and then bounce. It turns into an inverted head and shoulders, or whatever people call it. My money is on anticipating there might be a little sell-off here, just kind of a natural, instinctive, reactive sell-off from this zone. So I'll be looking for price to get into the zone. If it gets there to where my alert is, I'm going to be looking to sell. My entry might be somewhere here in this region of the zone. A stop loss would probably go, that would be a little too close. This one we're obviously too high. Probably something like that, and the stop loss would be below here. This gives me some room, so that way if I, it comes up here, starts to bounce, I get in there, and then it starts to go against me, but just goes deeper into the zone, and then it still has some room to turn around. And if it doesn't and it starts breaking above this recent zone, I can close and maybe get out like somewhere like halfway to this stop loss. So we'll see what happens. It's a pretty good risk structure, and I like how clean this is. It's just so picture perfect, like clean. So yeah, we'll see. We have this Wednesday today. So we got today, we got Thursday, we got Friday, and then we also got next week. If this is going to set up, it'll probably set up here in the next few days with all these little bull candles headed towards the zone. So we'll see if we get some resistance there. AUD USD, AUD CAD, nothing. I know I have some of my clients have messaged me about this. They were asking me like, hey, Nick, you're going to take AUD Canadian dollar. It looks like a good buy at support. Let's have a look. There's nothing wrong with this trading idea. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. The only thing is since we just bounced at this weekly resistance up here, I'm just a little bit more skeptical that this support is going to hold. Okay, when we were in the uptrend right here, price had already broken above the zone, came back, tested as support, bounced, came back, tested as support again, tried to bounce up and continue, failed, tried to go up and continue, failed again at the weekly zone, and now we have not even been able to get all the way back up into that weekly zone. Instead, we've just made all these lower highs, and now we're back here in a support, or maybe perhaps the support's a little lower, like down here, something like that, right? I just don't think this is worth taking, in my opinion. The more price goes sideways, the more likely it is to eventually break out of that zone. The first, second, third bounces might be nice and they might work out pretty good. But once you start getting to it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe. So 5, 6, 7, 8th bounce here at the zone. I don't know. I just feel like it's probably safer to just not take something like this. The sell here at this weekly resistance was fine. As far as this, something that I'd actually be a little bit more excited about would be if we break below this zone, then we come back up for a fresh new retest there to then sell. Because now we have the context of the weekly zone up here. We have these lower highs right here. And then now in that case, we would be potentially making a new lower high. This is kind of what I'm a little bit more excited about instead of looking to just buy right here at the support zone. I understand a lot of people might think like, okay, Nick, look, you buy at support, you sell at resistance. Why does it matter that it's just bounced off a weekly resistance zone? Because technically it's at a daily support zone, and technically it's pretty clear. This is where context and subjective experience and intuition and discretion and price action discernment and all my past 10 years of trading come into play. It is to be able to make these dynamic manual decisions whenever you're actually going about trading, using all that applied experience to kind of like manage things in a way where long term you make a little more money than you lose. And those decisions and using that discretion is where your edge lies in manual trading, right? We're not robots, we're humans. I mean, at least most of us watching this video, right? And so using that decision making and just using that like 2% of your brain to just sit there and think for a second, like, this doesn't feel right. And I don't know why it doesn't feel right. And it is a feeling. And some people could say, oh, you're trading with emotion. You're not trading a black and white system. There's no such thing as a black and white trading approach, right? Everybody trades different. You could show everybody, 10 different people the same chart, and people will come up with all sorts of different trading ideas given that chart, right? Things are not static. They're not black and white. There's no absolutes. There's no right and wrong. There's none of that. It involves you looking at the chart and using your subjective judgment. And as you trade over the course of the past, or over the course of a few years or more, you start to develop that kind of intuition, provided you're keeping things really, really simple. You're structuring risk in a clear way based on your risk tolerance and your time constraints. And then you're able to kind of go forward through everything using that experience in a way that's actually like tangibly beneficial for you. And for me, I'm using that right here with my discretion to say I'm not going to be buying. I'd actually look for it to break below. And then if it does, then I'll wait for it to come back. And then I will look to sell. That's what I'm looking for in AUD CAD. All right, GBP USD, I see nothing. We're in no man's zone or no man's land. Euro AUD, I see nothing. USD Canadian dollar, for me, I see nothing. Some people were telling me about this right here. The only reason I didn't look to take that is because we didn't really see this respected from the top side as support, except for just like literally 1 or 2 daily candles for a moment. I don't know. The fact that wasn't like, it wasn't really respected right here at all. It just broke straight through. And then it wasn't really respected here as a nice big bounce of support, right? We had a wick there for a second, but it wasn't really respected as support. So I was concerned that wasn't like price was just going to just either continue through this zone or just come right back up above and swipe above this zone. So, yeah, but for right now, I don't really see anything personally. If anything, I think GBP CAD looks a lot better because this zone is just much more clearly respected, and it was respected from the top as support. So it's just, there's more like price action at the zone that just shows it's more relevant. Yeah, so that's AUD CAD and where's this USD CAD? So USD JPY continues in its uptrend, broke right past the previous highs a couple weeks ago, and we're still going up. Nothing for me. NZD USD, nothing for me. And Euro Canadian dollar, nothing for me. So that is all my Forex analysis. So just to recap, I'll be looking to short NZD JPY. I'm already in this, but perhaps, if you're considering trading this, now would be a great time. In my opinion, not financial advice. This video is just for educational and entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. Trading is risky and most people lose money. You seriously shouldn't trade. Like it's horrible. Like the success rate is like 5 to 10%, if that. It's just so bad. So just don't listen to anything I say. Now, with that being said, I'm short on NZD JPY. So Euro JPY, this is looking really, really nice. I'm probably going to be going into Euro JPY right after this video, and I'll just give myself room to enter further up here with another 50k risk, so I can go in aggressively. Euro USD, let's see, she started to bounce to the upside here with a little bit of a wick. think it might be worth waiting on Euro USD. Waiting for what? Perhaps that high right there. I'm going to watch price action. I'm not even going to set an alert. I'm just going to watch price action to see what she's doing. I'm much more interested in Euro JPY. The last time we were here at this zone, we had a ridiculous sell-off. So I think that's just the better decision. Euro USD is still pretty nice. It's just kind of more sustained and, candle after candle. We don't see there wasn't a quick, crazy reaction like there was on Euro JPY. So just given the two trading opportunities, I think it's better. Plus, Euro USD has kind of been going sideways in this range. We're going to break out at some point, right? We could bounce here another 1, 2, 3 times, maybe even 4 times. But at some point, we've already bounced back and forth a lot. Eventually, price has to break out one way or another. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to, right? But usually that's what happens, right? Most of the time it goes sideways for a while, ping pongs back and forth off of a zone 4, 5, 6 times. Eventually the zone gets broken in almost every case, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking will be the case here. So Euro JPY probably is the better bet for me, especially given the fact that we're starting to bounce right here at this zone, which is probably the actual zone, right? It's probably the actual area price is likely to bounce at. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably be entering right here, and then I'll put the stop loss above here. Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, cool. And then we've got Euro USD, which we already talked about. GBP CAD, I'm waiting for the shorts up there. We're already starting to bounce to the downside. That's funny. 80 JPY and USD CHF. We got nothing for now. So that's it. So that's wrapped up everything. Be sure to hit the link in the description below and the pinned comment. And it's literally a free Telegram channel. I'm serious. You could literally join in the next 5 to 10 seconds. I just post all my analysis in here for free every day. And then if you think it's bullshit and you don't like it and it's not helpful, then that's okay. You can just leave. It's no big deal. But I've been doing this for the past 8 years, just sharing all my analysis in here for free for 8 years. All my stats, all my results, the wins, the losses, the trade, the account gross, the P&L for 8 years for thousands of people here on a daily basis. So yeah, it's just a resource there for you to help you out if you like it. So anyway, that'll be in the description and pinned comment below. I'll see you in the next one. Happy trading, my friends. Cheers.